Hey there, and welcome to Rad Facts. With the release of the remaster of Resident Evil 4, we're going to take a look at our top 10 differences between the original game and the remake. So sit back, relax, and let's take a closer look at Resident Evil 4. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and to stay up to date with our latest content on Rad Facts. Resident Evil is a series that's been running since 1996 and set the standard for survival horror video games. Resident Evil 4, considered the most popular in the series, was originally released in 2005. The remaster in 2023 is faithful to the original, but there are some differences that help it stand out. Here are our top 10 differences in the remake. Number 1. Overall tone. The original Resident Evil 4 abandoned the notion of the survival horror and soft rebooted the series, with Capcom creating an action game that only used horror as a backdrop. This trend would continue into Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 until it became tiresome, leading to Capcom soft rebooting the series again with Resident Evil 7, bringing survival horror back to the forefront of Resident Evil. The remakes of Resident Evil 2 and 3 slowly started to allow the action to creep back, but kept the focus on the horror. Resident Evil Village found the perfect blend of action and survival horror, and this made it into the remake of Resident Evil 4. The Village was a love letter to the original Resident Evil 4 in many ways, and the remake of Resident Evil 4 feels a lot like the 8th chapter. Resident Evil 4 is still an action-heavy game, but it ensures the adventure is scary enough to feel like a fitting continuation of the previous 3 Resident Evil remakes. Number 2. Ashley. Keeping Ashley alive is the main objective of the game, and it was not easy in the original. Ashley had her own health bar separate from Leon's, and you needed to give her healing items from your limited supply whenever she got hurt. Worst of all, a single stray shot from Leon would instantly kill Ashley, even if it just clipped her shoulder. It's much easier to keep Ashley safe in the remake. The cultists will still try to carry her off, but now, one will nab Ashley, while others swarm Leon to keep him occupied. If Ashley takes damage, she falls to the ground. And if she takes damage again before Leon can help her, she dies. This goes for both damage dealt by her and by Leon. But Ashley is much better about ducking and staying out of the line of fire than she ever was in the original game. Number 3. Crafting. From the early days of the franchise, mixing different color herbs has been a staple of the series to create healing items. However, the later games introduced ammo crafting, and this system has made its way into the remake of Resident Evil 4. By combining gunpowder with resources, players can create ammo that they need on the go. This is a significant improvement over the original game, where players had to rely on finding the right ammo in barrels and on enemies. While resources like gunpowder are still relatively scarce, this new crafting system offers greater versatility and ensures you're never stuck without enough ammo to tackle a fight. Of course, you will still need to make strategic decisions about what to craft, as resources remain limited. But added flexibility means you'll be less likely to feel helpless. Number 4. Stealth mechanics. One new addition is the stealth mechanic that allows Leon to sneak past the Ganados and take them down with a knife. While this mechanic becomes less effective in the later stages of the game, it's an excellent way to explore the village during its early stages. Sneaking around is a great way to conserve resources and avoid being swarmed by enemies, but as soon as you are discovered, you'll have to fight your way out of it. While stealth may not be a viable option for the entire game, it adds a new layer of strategy to Resident Evil 4, and as a refreshing change of pace. Number 5. The charm system. One exciting addition is the ability to customize Leon's attaché case with various charms that provide unique passive bonuses. Each charm offers a different bonus that affects various stats such as health effectiveness, run speed, and even item prices. These bonuses can provide significant advantages throughout the game and allow the player to tailor their playstyle to their preferences. It's an exciting new level of customization that adds depth and replayability to the gameplay experience. Plus, nothing beats the rush of seeing that legendary drop. Number 6. The visual overhaul. The original game was a standout title in 2005, but it's nothing compared to the stunning graphics in the remake. Every environment is filled with incredible detail, from the creepy village overrun with parasites to the haunting Castle Salazar and beyond. And it's not just the environments that have received an upgrade. Most of the characters have also gotten a fresh new look. While they're still recognizable, the characters have all received costume revamps that bring them to life in new and exciting ways. Number 7. The Merchant. One thing you'll notice about everyone's favorite shady salesman right away is that he's quite talkative, and he'll often comment on the purchases with a mix of mockery and gratitude. While his voice is different from the original, the majority of his iconic lines remain present, so fans of the original game will still feel at home. And even though we don't know much about the merchant as a character, the new lines fit well with the sarcastic and opportunistic attitude. Overall, the merchant is an entertaining and memorable character in the game, and the additional dialogue in the remake only adds to the charm. Number 8. Luis. Luis Serra is back in Resident Evil 4, and he's just as amazing as ever. This suave Spaniard was once a researcher for Sadler, the cult leader trying to take over the world. But after realizing his boss's true intentions, Luis switches sides and helps Leon and Ashley in their mission. In the remake, we learn that Luis used to work for Umbrella, the notorious pharmaceutical company responsible for creating the T-virus. This fact makes Leon understandably suspicious of Luis, given his own history with Umbrella and bioweapons, but Luis has a plan to make amends for his past, as he's been in contact with Albert Wesker and is working with Ada Wong to take down Sadler. This means stealing a virus sample from the Los Illuminados and exchanging it for their help. In the original game, Luis meets his end after delivering the vaccine to Leon and Ashley, but in the remake, he sticks around a lot longer to provide some much-needed humor and support. Sadly, he still meets a tragic end, but the circumstances are slightly different this time around. Number 9. Ada Wong. Ada Wong's role in the ending significantly differs from the original game. In the original, Ada's betrayal of Wesker happens off-screen, but in the remake, it takes place during the epilogue after Wesker admits his plans to use Las Plagas to commit mass murder. Ada then takes action and points her gun at the helicopter pilot, forcing him to fly away from Wesker's clutches. This change proves that Ada is not the villain some players may perceive her to be, and she has no desire to be part of another catastrophic event like Raccoon City. Number 10. Krauser's motivation. In the original Resident Evil 4, Jack Krauser and Leon were former colleagues from working in the US government. However, in the remake, Krauser is bitter towards Leon for taking his spot and is haunted by the deaths of his squad during the events of Resident Evil: The Dark Side Chronicles. Krauser suffers from a mix of post-traumatic stress disorder and survivor's guilt, which makes him a more sympathetic character. Despite these changes, Krauser's story remains the same in the remake, where he's promised power and revenge by Albert Wesker, infiltrating Sadler's cult, and kidnapping the president's daughter to earn his trust. And that's our top 10 differences in the remake of Resident Evil 4. What are your favorite differences? Let's discuss in the comments below. But that's all for Rad Facts. See you next time. Goodbye.